So here we are, finally, on the Logitech G920 driving force wheel, pedals and shifter. And this is just a first impressions video on Forza Horizon 4. So first off, just on the Logitech itself, the throttle pedal is really nice and light. The clutch pedal is a little bit more stiff of a spring, and the brake is actually quite stiff, halfway, and then the other sort of halfway of the pedal travel, it's almost like it's touching rubber or something, so it's, you know, you have to press really hard to lock the brakes out on Forza Horizon 4. So you know, first off, the pedals feel really nice, the wheel feels really nice, and the shifter feels really good. So how does it feel on Forza Horizon 4? So as soon as you start, as soon as you like wheel spin the car, you'll feel the front and the back end, you know, you'll feel it kind of slipping, and any vibrations in the road and change in the suspension, you feel it straight away and you feel it really strong. Quite surprised by this wheel because I thought it was going to be really weak, like the force feedback wouldn't be very strong, and I'm actually very gladly surprised. It's really strong, and it's also adaptive. I thought that basically, I've never had a force feedback wheel before, and I thought that with a force feedback wheel, it's kind of always the same resistance, so it always feels the same no matter what. But that's totally not the case. For example, if I drive slowly and turn, the steering, as you can see, is actually really quite light. But then if I try to steer, you know, really strong, and I'm going a bit too fast for that level of steering, obviously the car understeers, and you can feel that understeer straight away in the wheel. Like there's an instant resistance, and it just gets stronger. So the faster I go, and the more I do that, that is really strong resistance there. Another thing you'll notice is it, as in real life, the car or the wheels and the steering wheel, let's say for example when you're drifting, so my handbrake, just so you know, and so you're not thinking what's going on, my handbrake I've mapped to this, because on Xbox you can't plug in a handbrake, and you can't do it on PS4 either with the Logitech G920. It's only when you're using the PC that you can plug a handbrake in and it will be recognised. So basically my handbrake is the right paddle, so it's something that I can kind of reach quite easily. But yeah, as I was saying, the wheel, as it would in real life, the steering wheel and the wheels of the car, when you go to drift, it sort of, you know, it goes the other way. That's a really nice feeling on here, and it does it quite, you know, strongly. For example, if I try to stop it, you can feel it being, you know, like giving you a resistance, and you can feel the force. So first impressions on Forza Horizon 4 is really good. You know, when you rev the car too much, you spin the back wheels up, you can feel that loss of grip in the back end of the car straight away. And same, you know, when you're going a bit too fast and the front starts to slide out a bit, you can feel that. You can feel every bump, as you can see. You know, you really can feel everything. I'm really surprised, gladly surprised with how adaptive, how realistic, and how reactive the wheel is. You know, you feel everything, and it feels really good. It feels really natural, and yeah, I've only been playing about half an hour on the wheel and on Forza Horizon 4, and you know, I've just sort of got a basic settings set up. I've not got everything perfect, obviously, and I've just kind of started out. But so far, I'm really impressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm what the hell is that? I'm really surprised by how good it is. You can, when you've got it in the nice sweet spot of drifting, and you're going left to right to sort of keep it on a nice angle and keep it still drifting. Oh, what the hell? It's Forza for you. You can feel it, it's really nice, so I'll just try and get a nice drift going. It's raining now, so probably going to make things a bit more difficult. Yeah, a little bit. See, one thing I've noticed is that I'm quite a good drifter on controller. It's really easy. When you're on wheel, it's like going back to basics. It's like learning how to drive or learning how to drift again. It's really fun though. It's definitely, I mean, I'll be honest, I kind of got bored of Forza because it's been out for 2 years. I've driven all the cars, I've driven all the roads, I've drifted everything, I've done all the events. But this is like, it totally brings new life to the game. It's like learning a new skill, the wheel. It's totally different to a controller where, you know, you can be on the controller, you can drift the most perfect corner and get the most perfect line, and it's like kind of satisfying. With this, you can do like a rubbish drift, and it feels really satisfying, even more so than, you know, a perfect drift would on the controller. But yeah, as I was saying a little minute ago, when you get it into a nice drift and you hold it like this, it feels really good. You get the resistance on, like, you know, the left and the right as it should be in real life. It feels really realistic, and you know, it just feels really good. I'm really impressed by this wheel. My first impressions are like, wow, I'm surprised. I didn't think it would be this strong, this reactive, and yeah, adaptive to like, it's hard to explain, but I thought it would just be a kind of set resistance, so that it's always the same, and it's just kind of like not realistic, but it's really realistic. Whatever you do on the car, like whatever speed you're going, it will affect everything. If you're going fast and you try to turn sharply, there'll be a lot of understeer and you'll feel it in the wheel. If you're going slow and you turn, the steering's quite light, and you know, if you go over gravel or a bumpy road, you'll feel, I'll just try and find something now that's quite bumpy. But see, for example, it feels every single bump, and the steering, obviously, it's amazing. I'm surprised it's this good for what I would probably say is a cheap force feedback wheel. It's not, you know, yeah, it's not a cheap wheel, because I bought this for £150 for the shifter and the wheels, and the stand cost me about 50. So as wheels go, it's quite expensive, but as force feedback wheels go, it's one of the cheapest. And if I was you, sorry, if don't know what I mean by that, but yeah, I would recommend, now that I've been on a force feedback wheel, I would never recommend anybody to, you know, really waste your money on a wheel that's not force feedback, because it seems to me the whole point of a wheel a simulator is to have it feeling realistic and to be able to learn to drift and to drive with it. And you can't really do that if there's no feeling in the wheel. So yeah, as force feedback wheels go, this is my first time using one, so I can't really compare it to anything else, but I'm really impressed. I didn't think it was going to be this good. And this Logitech G920 is actually what you would probably call a budget force feedback wheel. Obviously there's the Thrustmaster and the Fanatec wheels, which, you know, can set you back 1,000, 2,000, you know, at least a couple of hundred, whereas this, the whole setup including the stand, less than 200. So all I can say so far is really, really good. It feels really nice, and I can't wait to play this more and start doing drifting tutorials, and I'm going to do like a learning to drift series on Forza Horizon 4. And of course I'm going to be playing lots of other games too, like Dirt 4, the WRC games, and a new really cool game that's come out that obviously you'll see on my channel a lot, Car X Drift Racing Online. Because yeah, I'm playing on Xbox One, so that's the sort of games I'm going to be playing. Assetto Corsa is a good game, apparently for wheel as well, but unfortunately on Xbox there's just not much. There's not much to the game. There's not many cars, and there's not many tracks. Assetto Corsa drifting is basically mainly for PC. So when I get a good enough PC, I'm going to hook this up to the PC and get some good Assetto Corsa mods, cars, tracks, and all that sort of stuff going. But anyway, back to Forza Horizon 4. I'm going to get in a race car in a minute, because I've kind of been drifting around for like half an hour to an hour now, and yeah, I've got like the hang of it, and I sort of felt everything and had a little bit of a taster of what it's like, and it's really good. I can't really recommend it enough, to be honest. It's really surprising just I mean, I might be all over the place, but I mean, this is my first time on a force feedback wheel, so you have to give me a bit of a break there. But yeah, it's definitely a new experience, a new thing to learn. It's like learning drifting again, but this time actually realistically. You know, when you learn drifting on the controller, it's, you know, you can go from full lock to the right or the left just by flicking your thumb, whereas with this, you know, it's a hell of a lot more just to get the full lock right and left. So it's definitely a completely different experience for me on gaming. I'll be honest, it's probably the best thing I've ever bought for the Xbox, because for the price, I mean, some games nowadays with the full DLC and the season pass, you could easily be paying £100. I mean, the new Far Cry that's coming out soon, that's I think £100 with all the DLC, which is crazy. And a lot of games are doing that now. Even the new Call of Duty, what's that, £70? But for 200, so just the price of basically 2 games nowadays, you can get a full-on shifter, wheel, pedals and stand set up, and mine has got a warranty for 2 years, so I've got an amazing fun experience and way to learn drifting and racing for £200, the cost of 2 new games. So I mean, first impressions are I'm pretty astounded. I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near this good at all. It's a lot stronger than I thought. That's the biggest surprise. I didn't think the force feedback was going to be this strong, but the resistance and like when it fights you, it really does fight you, and you have to sort of like put real force into fighting against it. When you're understeering, you need to turn quite hard, or you need to slow down and then stop the understeer, and then the steering will become light. So it's almost like reacting to the force feedback is going to help you really learn about cars and learn, you know, for example, you can feel when the back slides out, when the front slides out, when you lose grip. You can feel when the suspension compresses when you're driving on a road. Obviously, as you can see, when you're driving on the dirt or across any bumps, or if you hit a curb, you feel that straight away. You will feel a bump. You will feel like little bumps and curves in the road. You can kind of feel the suspension. When you go down a hill like this, I can feel the steering get lighter, and if I was to go up a hill quite fast, you'd feel the steering get heavier. So I mean, Logitech have done a really good job here for an entry-level force feedback wheel that's a good value, quite cheap I'd say, to be honest, compared to, you know, games nowadays and just anything nowadays, to be honest. They've done an amazing job. Like, I can't quite believe how good this feels and how good it is for something that's, you know, kind of cheap. Not cheap, but compared to everything else nowadays, when, you know, games are costing 70, 80, £100, for £200 you can get this amazing drift rig, you know, drift racing simulator. I would say, you know, if you've got the space, get one. If you're into racing and you're into drifting, so far my first impressions are, like, I can't recommend it enough. There's nothing really that I think is bad about it. It feels nice when you shift. It's got a nice short shifter. It's really good. It's really fun. I'll be honest, I got really bored with Forza, but this has kind of brought a new life back into the game, and I can't wait to put some more hours into the game, get really good at drifting and get good at racing, and yeah, post some clips for you guys, post some tutorials, and yeah, just really get used to this and get some hours in on this wheel. I can't wait. But anyway, let's see if we can choose a nice race car and give a little test at, I forgot where it is now, what am I doing? Here we go. So yeah, let's just choose something fast, why not? Probably going to crash and be all over the place, but I'll be honest, before filming this, before this right now, what I'm doing, I have had a little go in some race cars, and it feels really good. It's very different to the drift cars. What should we choose? Ah, nice. Love this car. So yeah, when you're in a drift car, obviously I've got an AE86 Toyota Sprinter Truno. I've got it on a drift setup, so when you put too much throttle on, the back straight away kicks out. It wants to drift, it wants to slide, it doesn't really want to grip very much and race. This, I'm assuming, is going to be very different. The car I used, before I started filming this, having a little go racing, was totally different. And yeah, straight away, it doesn't want to slide. See if we can do a nice little run without crashing. Probably not. Oh. So yeah, I'll be honest, it feels totally different. When you change car, it changes the feel of the wheel. The steering is a lot lighter in this car than it was in the 86 drift car I was in. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure yeah, there you go. If you go to understeer, it's definitely, there's force there and it will resist you. But yeah, definitely a lot more light and controllable feel in the race cars. Let's see if we can top out here. The one thing that I think this doesn't have is it doesn't have a 7th gear. That's probably the only downside to this shifter, but there's only going to be a few race cars. I don't even know if this car has a 7th gear, but there's only going to be a few cars that do. So although it's a bit annoying not having a 7th gear, it's not a big issue for me. I could, in theory, use the paddle, but obviously I've mapped it to the handbrake now, so I can't use it for shifting up that last gear. But I'd rather have an easy, accessible handbrake than the paddle shift anyway. And you can always just go onto the button mapping and just change it back anytime you want. It takes 10-20 seconds. The little race going on here. Let's see if I can go behind me. Oh wow, so yeah, when you wheel spin, even in a race car, I could feel the sort of the front and the back end slipping out then, and I sort of had to correct it before it spun out, which is really cool. So even in the race cars, you get a sense of, when the car is going to spin, when it's going to lose control. And even in the race cars, if you put the throttle too much and you're going quite slow, and you've got a powerful car and it spins the wheels, you can feel that straight away. You feel the car shudder and you feel it want to kind of spin out and be all over the place, which is a really cool thing. So yeah, first impressions of this, amazing. I'll be honest. I'm really happy I've got this finally, and yeah, I'm just trying to think of what my complaints are with it. If anything, the 7th gear is the only thing, and possibly this actually isn't a full-sized steering wheel. I'd say a full-size steering wheel is probably, I don't know, about there, so like an extra inch or 2 in width, but it's fine, it's not, to be honest, you can notice it, because I drive in real life and I've been driving for quite a few years, so I know what the feel of a real life size steering wheel is. But if I didn't, I wouldn't really have any problem with this, and I just, it would feel totally normal. It's only because I'm used to a bigger wheel in a normal car that I can feel the difference straight away. But it's not something that's annoying or sort of is ruining the game or anything, not at all. Although, to be honest, in the future, after I've used this for a little while, I might look at just putting on a bigger wheel, because I know you can get an adapter for this and just put a bigger wheel on it, so I might look at doing that. But so far, that's the only 2 things I can think that are kind of not a positive. Everything else I'm really impressed by. I didn't think the force was going to be this strong. I didn't think it was going to feel this reactive and adaptive. Like when I'm going, like just right there, I can feel the steering get heavier, and as I go down this hill, I can feel the steering get lighter, and any little bump in the road I can feel straight away. I can feel as soon as the car loses grip. I can feel when it understeers, like then, it's giving me a lot of resistance. I mean, to be honest, I'm amazed at how good it is. I didn't think for the money you could get something this good. I expected, if I bought a Thrustmaster or a Fanatec wheel for £1,000, I'd expect it to feel like this, but not this feel like this. So if you're into racing and you're into drifting and you've not got a wheel, I'd say don't bother wasting your money on a wheel that doesn't have force feedback, because this force feedback is amazing. It feels so good, it feels so fun and like satisfying just driving. Like honestly, I could probably drive around just normal speed and it's just like taking a nice cruise. Like stuff that would normally be boring on a controller, just driving around or racing or drifting on a game that's now 2 years old. It feels amazing on here. Like you can, like I said earlier, you can drift perfect on a controller and it feels quite good, quite satisfying. You can drift pretty rubbish on here and it feels amazing. That's the difference. And it's like, to me, it's totally revitalized and rejuvenated and like brought life back into this game. It makes me want to play this game non-stop all day now, whereas I'll be honest, I haven't played Forza Horizon in like weeks, other than since I got this wheel. So yeah, definitely, if you're into Forza, if you're into racing or rally games or drift games or any of that, and you've got the space for one of these things, because I'll be honest, it does take up quite a bit of space, I definitely recommend getting one. And I mean, even for me, for example, this is in my living room currently, so this is going to be packed away into the cupboard or the wardrobe or whatever every time I use this. So when I go to sleep or when I turn off the Xbox at night tonight, this is going to have to be packed away into the cupboard, which is, to be honest, given that it's all attached into one big rig, I literally just carry it away. I just take the plugs out, wrap it around the pedals, and just, you know, put it in the cupboard, and that's it. But yeah, so far, first impressions on Forza Horizon 4 with the Logitech G920 driving force, wheel, pedals, and shifter. I'd say 9 out of 10. I'm not going to say 10 out of 10 because it could be better. I guess they could have a bigger wheel. They could have a 7-speed shifter, but if they did have that, it'd probably be more money. It'd probably be more along the lines of a Thrustmaster or Fanatec wheel. So I guess you can't have everything for, you know, a low price. To have a bigger wheel and to have more features and you know, all that sort of stuff, it would just mean that the price is more. So I'm happy with, value-wise, this is amazing. I can't believe it's this powerful. I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near this strong and this realistic. I'll be honest, I've been driving for years. I've drifted in real life. I've, you know, driven different cars, and this feels really good. It feels really natural. It feels really realistic. It's really what's the word? Immersive. That's what it's like. It's like I'm driving this car. And you know, this car feels nice and, you know, nippy. It turns quite quick. It's light steering. The wheels don't want to spin up too much, but they will if you push it and you push the throttle in low speed. Wow, the steering's gone really light when I do that, obviously. But yeah, you jump into a drift car, and it feels like you're in a totally different car. The steering feels different. You know, when you push down on the throttle, the back end goes out a lot more easy, and you can feel it sort of, you know, being a bit squirrely. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait to try different cars, maybe some rally cars on Forza Horizon 4, do some videos, tutorials. I'm going to be doing a Learning to Drift series on Forza Horizon 4 using this setup, and also on CarX Drift Racing Online. And I'm going to be doing, yeah, just general videos about rally games like dirt, racing, and drifting. But yeah, definitely going to be doing a series on learning to drift with a G920 wheel, and I might even do a series about learning to drive. If you've never driven a car before and you want to take your test and you don't want to spend, you know, £200 on lessons and then another £200 on lessons or whatever it may be, you could actually, to be honest, you could learn to drive with this. I mean, you know, neutral, you put it into first, get the revs up. Oh, I mean, you probably won't want to learn to drive in this sort of a car because it's a little bit touchy, but you know, you let go of the, you blow the gearbox up, but you let go of the clutch quite slowly, and there you go, you've pulled off. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You could learn to drive a car and learn the controls of a car with this game. You could learn to race and learn to drift on this game. So I might do a tutorial series on going from not knowing how to drive a car and not knowing any of the controls to being completely competent at driving a car and maybe good at racing and drifting too. So hopefully a lot of tutorial series to come from the G920 wheel on my channel, and yeah, just a lot more videos featuring the wheel, you know, just fun videos as well. And I want to do some like meetups and invite some of like my subscribers and viewers to do like cruises with me and stuff like that. But also, I just want to say, I'm not going to stop doing the controller videos. This isn't like the end of the controller for me, and I'm never going to use it again. Obviously, this is going to be packed away every night or whenever I take it out, so there might be some nights where I don't want to pull it out of the cupboard, I don't want to set it up. I'll just, really? You know, I'll just, what was I saying? I'll just put the controller in and just drift like I would, you know, like I have been for years. I've been drifting on Forza since Forza Motorsport 3, so like what, 10 years ago, and yeah, that's not going to stop. I'm always going to be using the controller. I'm still going to do controller videos, but this is, damn, this is definitely going to be a main feature of the channel from now on. And yeah, thanks for watching if you've watched to the end. Hope this has helped you if you're thinking about getting one of these, or you've just got one, and well, I don't know how this video would help you if you've just got one, but if you're thinking of getting one, I'd say get it. You know, if you can afford it and you've got the room for it, definitely get it, because it's good. It's really good. It's a lot better than you would think. I don't know why I instinctively got to the roundabout and went to drift, but yeah, if you're thinking of getting one, don't hesitate to get one. It's really good. It's a lot better than you would imagine. It's more powerful and strong than you would imagine. The force feedback, you know, the vibration's really strong. When you go on dirt, it, you know, goes crazy. And you can also change all these settings. I've just basically I've probably been on this game about an hour now, and I just set up quickly and I jumped into the game, and even then it's really good. I've probably not got the settings as good as they can be, but even still it works really well. But anyway, that's where I'm going to have to end it because my GoPro died here. But thanks for watching. I hope this has helped you if you were thinking about getting one of these wheels, and stay tuned for more drifting racing videos across all different games, and you know, controller and now steering wheel gameplay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.